to start cleaning up the mess the storm left behind. Plus, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton is trying to distance herself from her husband, the president. Straight ahead on the news, we'll tell you why.
News, weather, and sports from where you live. Now, News Channel 7 at 11.
Dennis, it came, it left, and it came back once again. On its way out, the storm leaves a costly mess behind. Good evening, I'm Diana Watson. Dennis may be the storm that North Carolinians living on the coast will long remember. Not because the once hurricane packed a big punch, but because it kept showing up. It caused considerable havoc and took a heavy economic toll for businesses which depend on Labor Day travel to finish off a summer of beach going. Todd Hauer in Nags Head takes a look at what Dennis left behind.
Mother Nature conceived it, the ocean conceived it, the ocean's going to take it.
Gerard Joseph's house is still standing.
They condemned to build it because of that.
But it's partially buried in sand. He's not alone on this beachfront.
A war zone.
Farther south in Buxton, the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse is still standing tall, but visitors won't be able to get close until standing water recedes. Kids won't be able to play ball on this field, and vacationers can't check into some hotel rooms.
Probably all of the units had sand and water pushed through by wind, not by ocean or sound tide.
So we're off to salvage what we can of our last day at the beach for our honeymoon.
Newlyweds Leo and Stacy Donahue decided to spend the last day of their honeymoon on the beach. They gave up trying to get to their Frisco beach house. Four-wheel drive was the only way to get through this stretch of Highway 12. 25 years of living on the beach has taught Gerard Joseph that the ocean can take and it can give.
We've had this place and we've searched the beach for a perfect shell like this. We could never find one.
All along the beachfront here on Hatteras Island, homes have been condemned. Residents say they want to rebuild, but it will be up to building inspectors to decide if it's safe to do that. Reporting from the Outer Banks, I'm Todd Hauer for CBS News.
State emergency management officials say the worst flooding from Dennis was in Crave and Pamlico counties. Also, 60% of Ocracoke Island is flooded, but the village isn't. Dennis is spawning tornadoes this weekend. In Hampton, Virginia, a twister hit hard yesterday. Look at that damage. The National Weather Service clocked winds of up to 120 miles per hour. 5 apartment complexes were damaged, along with a nursing home. More than a dozen people were treated at area hospitals. Today, Virginia's governor is among those assessing damage. Jim Kirkpatrick joins us now for First Weather. Jim, are we in for a wet Labor Day because of Dennis?
Well, it looks like the worst of it's going to be out of here as we get into tomorrow. And in fact, we really didn't see a whole lot out of it. We were right on the edge of the storm as we zoom in. Dennis earlier today, pretty powerful, still very tightly wound, but now beginning to kind of fall apart. Still centered, the center of the storm right around Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and slowly drifting to the west. We think it's going to take a northerly turn tonight. Notice not much moisture left for the western Carolinas. A pretty good swath into the eastern part of the Carolinas. We may still see a few isolated showers this evening. It looks like as we get into tomorrow, Labor Day, the storm kind of pulls away from the area. We'll tell you more about that coming up in just a moment. Overnight tonight, it's going to be rather cloudy out there, maybe a couple areas of drizzle around, and that's going to be about it. 60s for most of the upstate, in the upper 60s, lower 60s in the mountain areas. The full forecast for the next 5 days, and including the Labor Day weekend, the wrap-up of it anyway. That's all coming up in a few minutes, Dana.
Thanks, Jim. We'll look for that a little later. On to other news now. A Labor Day weekend outing ends in tragedy on one upstate lake. 37-year-old Klingman Lennon of Simpsonville was pulled from the waters of Lake Kiowee this morning. The Oconee County coroner says he was apparently swimming or wading in the Fall Creek landing area when he went under and drowned, apparently. The victim's nephew and a friend tried to resuscitate Lennon, but it was too late. An autopsy will be conducted. Investigators are still trying to find out who was responsible for vandalizing an upstate church this weekend. Members of the New Beginning Church in Taylor say they found a garden hose running through a busted-out window, spraying water onto the sanctuary floor. The vandalism apparently happened late Friday night or early Saturday morning. Nothing was stolen. It's not clear why this church was targeted. Despite the damage, the congregation managed to hold worship services inside the building today as planned. If you have any information about this case, you're asked to call the Greenville County Sheriff's Office. Some of South Carolina's most talented teenagers have a new place to call home in Greenville. The Governor's School for the Arts and Humanities welcomed its inaugural class today. The new $24 million school will train and educate young musicians, dancers, artists, and writers. Unlike past years, the students will live and study on campus through the whole school year instead of just during summers.
It will give an opportunity for a lot of young people who are very committed to and serious and talented in the arts to complete their junior and senior years of their high school education.
While the dormitories are open, the campus is not fully finished. The classroom building will not be complete until November. That means students will have to attend classes at other locations in Greenville, such as the County Art Museum and University Square. Is the upstate ready for a visit from George W. Bush? That story just ahead. And a presidential decision is turning into a very public disagreement between the first couple. Plus, bombings in Israel and Russia kill more than 24 people. Those stories and more just ahead on the news.
Closed captioning of News Channel 7 is brought to you by your local Dodge dealer.
You can bank online anytime at www.meetcaroline.com. Find out how easy it can be.
During this Y2K scare, people are getting a little weird about protecting their valuables. What goes in the hole?
T-bills, collector plates. I smell fear in this community.
I think you hit the septic tank. But don't pay attention to this, mental giant. See your Kia dealer, where Y2K really means yes to Kia. And you can get up to $2,000 cash back on the few 99 Sophias left during the Yes to Kia clearance event going on now. Careful with that pipe.
Whoa!
Kia's Y2K clearance event absolutely ends September 7th.
Oh, I like this blue.
None of these girls just roll out of bed and go to class, I'll tell you that.
These are cute.
We all go to the same school together and live in the same dorm, sort of family away from family. It's like a slumber party every night. Staying up late, out in the hall.
They're V-necks.
Awesome. We love shopping together.
It's like bonding time with the girls.
Hey, you guys, look at this one. Like at Walmart, they
They always seem like they have the newest thing. Any style that you want.
Cute colors.
Stylish, comfortable. Yeah, you can buy so much more clothes for tons less.
Sure. Throw it in, girls. We live out of each other's closets.
At Winn-Dixie, we'd like to remind you to be a little brand conscious. Not all supermarkets sell U.S. choice beef, but it's on every cut of beef we sell. Now for your Labor Day cookout, get T-bone steaks for a low $3.99 a pound. That's right, just $3.99 a pound. Get a sizzling good price on boneless sirloin steak too, also just $3.99 a pound. When it comes to beef, remember the WD brand from Winn-Dixie, the beef people.
News Channel 7 at 11. With Diana Watson, Fred Cunningham with sports, and Jim Kirkpatrick with the Doppler 7 Storm Team.
The Republican frontrunner in the presidential campaign will be making a Labor Day stop in the upstate. George W. Bush will arrive in Simpsonville tomorrow afternoon. He'll be in town to campaign at the city's 25th annual Family Fun Festival. The event's going on through tomorrow at Simpsonville City Park. Bush will arrive at GSP Airport just after 1 o'clock and will then make his way to the Golden Strip to meet supporters. Republicans don't seem to be buying First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton's criticism of the president's offer of clemency for some Puerto Rican terrorists. Mrs. Clinton says she did not know of her husband's offer of clemency beforehand for the 16 terrorists serving prison time for a string of deadly bombings. She says the offer should be withdrawn, especially since the terrorists have not denounced violence. Critics say the president only made the offer to court favor with Hispanic voters if his wife decides to run for the New York Senate seat.
That this was an effort by the president, by the First Lady, to manipulate politics in New York. I think it blew up in their face, and I think the First Lady's trying to distance herself from it, but even her distancing I don't think works, because her position is you can let these criminals go if they say they won't do it again. If you set that standard, you wouldn't have anybody in any prison in the United States of America.
Mrs. Clinton has formed an exploratory committee to look into her chances for the U.S. Senate. Also, she and the president have found a house in a very posh New York suburb. Tonight in our World View, car bombings rock northern Israel just hours after that country signed its latest peace agreement with the Palestinians. An aide to Israel's prime minister is warning that more attacks like the twin car bombs today could derail that peace process. The bombs exploded at about the same time in two cities 60 miles apart. 3 people were killed, apparently the bombers themselves. And another car bombing, this time in Russia, has left at least 30 people dead. Happened last night at the Russian military housing complex. Authorities say more than 100 people were hurt, mostly women and children. They're blaming the bombing on Islamic rebels in the southern part of Russia. Still to come in sports, the Braves' comfort zone shrinks a little in their battle with the Mets, and Jeff Burton has a million reasons to love rain. Fred will explain that coming up.
We saw a little bit of rain here today thanks to the remnants of tropical depression. Dennis, what's up for the big holiday tomorrow? Well, the Doppler 7 Futurecast is next, and we'll tell you.
Nice try. Now get in.
Hate painting? Lowe's knows how to help. Lowe's has everything you need to get the job done quick and easy.
All at guaranteed everyday low prices.
Our paint experts can recommend the best paint for any job, like Olympic Ultimate Performance Interior Paint. It's the ultimate paint for any project.
When it comes to paint, Lowe's knows.